Good evening. Thank you for joining us on Straight Talk. Our guest this evening is Professor Emily Chan, a clinical humanitarian doctor and global academic expert in public health and humanitarian medicine. Professor Chan holds many appointments at both local universities and in the UK, and also leads frontline humanitarian operations in disasters and complex emergency contexts in more than 20 countries. Emily is director of Collaborating Centre for Oxford University and the Chinese University of Hong Kong for Disaster and Medical Humanitarian Response, and also chairs several WHO and global groups involved in managing disasters. Professor Chen is also the Chief Executive Officer of GX Foundation, a non-profit charitable organization. We have asked her to tell us about Hong Kong's role in aiding other nations. Welcome, Emily.
Hi, Eugene. Good to see you.
Right, Emily, as we know, last Saturday was the World's Humanitarian Day, so it's very timely to have you tonight to discuss with us about Hong Kong's role in humanitarian aid this morning. This is a topic that we don't often talk about, but we know it is important. As I understand, you being the CEO of the GX Foundation, which is a non-profit, non-governmental charitable organization in Hong Kong, which aims to provide international medical and public health humanitarian assistance to countries of the Belt and Road Initiative. So does the word GX stand for anything? And what is the vision and mission of this organization?
Right. Thank you, Eugene. GX is actually the Chinese pinyin of 共享. It means sharing or connectivity between people. It has a very important underlying theme of employing or applying perhaps medical humanitarian assistance to countries along the Belt and Road. The idea is that by this stage, Chinese or mainland China or the whole Greater China region, we have enough resources, capacity and network to support and to participate in global humanitarian assistance to the people in need.
Is it the first time that our nation giving humanitarian aid to other countries?
Oh, definitely not. Chinese has been very active in participating in sharing and giving aid across the world, especially in African countries. But as a non-governmental organization, we are quite rare in the market.
Right. So how did this foundation come about? When did it start?
Well, the foundation started in 2018, and the headquarters of GX Foundation is in Hong Kong. The idea is that Hong Kong has a very unique location in the sense that we have this right system and perhaps the experience in hosting non-governmental organizations that are interested in working in global communities.
I'm going to ask you a very direct question. Why do we need this GX Foundation? I mean, what is it going to help our nation?
Perhaps the question is why not? Because it's always the ambition of any countries, once they get to certain development stage of the country's evolution, that they become useful to the world. And from the perspective of health or medical humanitarian assistance, there's always needs across the world that we can cater for. And for Hong Kong in specific, we are a very international community. And we have the right human resources and a lot of experience in hosting global-based organization. So by this stage, I guess for Chinese development, we are at the right moment to have our own organization, a Chinese NGO that would have a global focus.
Well, how much do you see that the work through your organization will sort of contribute to building a stronger sort of international relationships and collaboration? Do you see that happening already?
It's definitely. The beauty of doing humanitarian assistance is it's very direct. It's not just an idea. It's the idea that whenever the aid is received by the local community, it's heartfelt. It actually does bring in a direct people-to-people's connectivity. Also, the beauty of it is that in order to provide such assistance, people have to work together. Because you can imagine across the world, people speak different language, culture, religious affiliation, and regardless of political interest, people's health is very fundamental. And as a result, if our medical team visit to the community and offer support. It's definitely direct, and it's an opportunity to build relationship, friendship, and the outcome, it's very clear.
Right, Emily, you're well recognized for your leadership and expertise in public health, as well as what we call the disaster health. I was privileged enough to be selected as one of the 10 outstanding young person with you in 2004. But you moved on and get the global award and become the world 10 outstanding young person for Hong Kong, which we are very proud of. What makes you want to join this organization?
Oh, take it this way. When I was younger, it was always an interest to be part of the global community. At that stage, there's not a lot of opportunities for myself or my counterparts who have that interest to join a Chinese-based organization, both because of the stage of national development, also because of, at that stage, if you were to go to frontline, a disaster humanitarian sites, it does take a lot of capacities in terms of platforms to be available. And I joined the university about 18 years ago, and I got so much into the academic side, and I love my academic work. So the interest of being able to continue with frontline work is always there. But I also have a big portfolio to fulfill as a teacher, as an academic. The opportunity comes in 2018 and 19 when I'm aware of the foundation's existence, and the invitation came, and I have to seriously consider whether this is the stage that I should try to contribute by helping to build the foundation. The opportunity comes, and I realize that it's a great thing to do.
Mm-hmm. Emily, how is it different to the more commonly known NGOs like the Red Cross, or even the one you work closely together, the Doctors Without Borders?
Right. Well, I have to tell you that that stage of my life, I love the work because it gives me an opportunity to be out there in the front line, work with global community, and be able to serve. By now, I would have to say that those are organizations that I still respect a lot, and we, in the global community, we work very closely together. And by now, I do like with a technical capacity and as advisor. But the GX Foundation is different. The GX Foundation is in Hong Kong. It's my hometown, and it's where I can work with my Chinese counterparts, which I treasure the opportunity.
Right, you mentioned more than once being based in Hong Kong, being a Chinese NGO. So what is the advantage of being this based in Hong Kong?
Well, at a personal level, of course, my home base is in Hong Kong, so
True.
I don't need to move across the world, even though my work is across the world. And I guess the other advantage is that Hong Kong is a very interesting city. I would say that the platform is here. The opportunity to find people with similar mindsets are there. And also, I guess, with the language and with also the language flexibility, and also because, it gives us a flexibility of go around the world with the travel, the logistic, and I guess most important of all, communication-wise, I can always talk to the global community in a very open manner because in Hong Kong we are very used to discussing global discussion of topics and issues. It's something an advantage that Hong Kong would have.
Emily, the more I listen to what you're describing about the GX Foundation, the more I felt that the advantage of being one country, two systems. This is what Hong Kong can offer. Do you agree?
Oh, I do agree, definitely agree. Because, in Hong Kong, aside from the system where, it's easier for us to find the right talent pool, and also at this moment, for sure, for traveling purpose. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Well, Emily, before we go to the break, can you just let the viewers know, share with us some of the work that you have done in the last few years and any particular good stories you want to share?
Right. Well, I guess with the GX Foundation, we start in 2018. Our work actually was very active across the COVID pandemic time. We rarely talk about it in the public, but we have non-stop. I've been traveling to the countries or the target countries, and there are many stories.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's take a short break now, but viewers, we will be right back. Thank you for staying with us. Professor Emily Chan, the CEO of GX Foundation, a locally based NGO, is with us, and she has been sharing about the humanitarian aid programs that GX Foundation is involved in and the impact these have had on the people in nations along the One Belt, One Road route. So, Emily, we have touched on the work that you have done in the last few years, and can you tell us a bit more? I mean, a few years isn't a very long time. However, it's definitely not a short time either, because especially you mentioned about COVID. How does COVID impact on your work? I mean, does it make it easier for you to achieve more along these 4 years because people are more concentrated and wanting to help you?
Right. You are asking a very important and very interesting question. When we started our operations in 2018 and 19, we didn't expect COVID. So we have all these plans set up to deal with the backlogged cataract cases in all these countries and hope to be able to achieve it within 5 years' time. COVID came along in 2020. It does affect our plan because it not only does it involve a lot of issues with quarantines of medical teams if they were to travel. Our logistic supply was stopped because, of course, the priority will be given to the COVID relief supply and so on and so forth. It was a challenge, but it's also an opportunity and a chance. What we actually found for the past 2 or 3 years is that during these critical moments around the world, we actually have not been stopping to travel. And the interesting aspect is a lot of NGO counterparts, because global community is actually very diverse. A lot of NGO actually did not continue during the COVID time, but GX were there. So we actually happened to be, in many locations, the only international NGO in a lot of contexts, and give us an opportunity to build our profile and the goodwill in the local community. So even though our main theme or main activities are to deal with cataract surgery, during the COVID time, we were also engaged in several activities related to COVID pandemic support by supplies, because as requested by the Minister of Health. And as a result, also some teaching, education, community initiatives. So as a result, we did manage to build a very important layer of NGO work is to build the relationships, the trust, and also the connectivity. So that actually did kickstart or help us to kickstart once the country opened up much faster than we thought about the relationship as well. Because when you build medical initiatives, you do need the trust of local community.
Well, Emily, how many, as we know, the One Belt, One Road initiative is a sort of a long road, and that it covers geographically a very large area. So how many countries have you touched on? And more importantly, I'm sure the viewer is going to ask you, where do we find the actual medical team to do the actual cataract surgery? Because it looks like there are many people we want to support.
Right. Well, actually, along the Belt and Road, there's more than 100 countries. When we went through the exploration of countries, we did exploration for about 10 to 15 of them. Not all of them we would be able to cater for the first phase of our operation. We're very small. But we have decided that there are 5 countries along the Belt and Road that we will be focusing on for the first 5 years. That includes Laos and Cambodia in Southeast Asia, Djibouti in East Africa, and 2 other countries, Mauritania and Senegal in West Africa. Those are very important to us, both from the perspective of the local interest to work closely, and we, after assessment, our capacity to serve, as our commitment for eliminating the backlog case of cataract in those countries.
Right, Emily, I can just foresee you traveling from Hong Kong to all these cities, and it's quite a long journey. Yes. I can't see if it's going to be a very smooth journey. How does the actual cultural difference, does it pose any difficulties? Although you're going there, right, we're going to try to help you, but even then, doesn't mean that they'll accept our help.
Yes. Yes.
So what challenges have you faced in that manner?
I guess for anyone who is interested in work in humanitarian community globally, we always face several dimensions. The first, of course, it's whether you actually understand the problem in the local context. A medical intervention is always interesting. The medical side, it's very solid because someone who are ill or someone who needs medical help, that is a solid solution if you manage to get the resources, the right technical staff to support. But how local community understand the problem itself is already a challenge. In a lot of communities around the world, I guess cataract blindness is still considered as an untreatable condition. We all know it's not true. So, I mean, the starting point is that we have to work with the Ministry of Health in our target countries to ensure education or screening or finding cases will be there. For all the countries we travel, we always would have a group of patients who are very eager for treatment. In fact, I mean, when we talk about backlog case management, the biggest problem is, at least in an advanced location like Hong Kong, we at least can go for a waiting line. In those countries, there's no waiting line. There's simply no resources to do the cataract surgery. It's a simple, treatable condition that can give dignity for people who are affected. As a result, even that simple message, we have to go to the community. So I guess that involves education, that involves the engagement with local authorities. And interesting of all, how is the best way to do it? Because nowadays people use internet, people will talk about using a lot of different media. For our case, we have to go all the way to the village by our staff, our counterparts, our partners, to look for the case and bring them to the clinics, the mobile clinics. So that itself has been a lot of work for the past 2 or 3 years.
Right. I can just imagine the amount of work you have to do. I mean, as you said, it's a small team, a new organization, an NGO based in Hong Kong, basically funded by local people. We haven't talked about the actual medical team. How many workers or ophthalmologists are you looking for in order to better serve these countries? Because it looks like you mentioned backlog. That means they have a lot of cases. Right. Even in mainland, we have this cataract surgery going on at the same time. Do we have enough manpower to support you in this good cause?
Right. Well, that exactly is the precious reason why GX is unique, because it's about the scale. We're talking about eliminate the backlog cataract cases in 5 countries. We're talking about, by estimation, as agreed by the Ministry of Health of all those countries and us, we're talking about 38,000 surgery in 4 years. With that, it's a lot of surgeries. We know that Hong Kong, even though it's an amazing city, we would not be able to harness the type of human resources because we still have local needs. So that is where the whole GX spirit is. We look for partnerships. And our medical teams are supported by various provinces at the province level in mainland China. All these medical capacities are based on nomination by the province, and each of the medical teams is about 5 individuals, and we would send them to work at our mobile clinics that are stationed in the target countries and work closely with also local partners of the target countries, like the Ministry of Health, the local supporting agencies, and also, of course, the local community. It's because medical interventions can never be just a doctor. It has to be basically a team. So the team is composed of quite a number of partners, and in order to do that scale of surgeries.
So Emily, thank you for sharing with us the background of the good work that you have done. But I'm sure the viewers is going to ask you, with all the good work you have done, you're trying to do cataract surgeries for the backlog cases. Where are all the funds coming from?
Our funds actually comes from the community. And we have, at this point, never applied for any government fundings. We are generously supported by groups, other foundations, and even like self-initiated initiatives like people donate their book sales, their talks, fees, and so on and so forth to this group. I would have to say that GX Foundation is quite special. Aside from partnerships, it's about participation too. As people always said, I mean, how can they participate aside from being participated by going to the front line if they cannot? Donating to support a good cause is also one of the engagement that we definitely encourage.
Right, Professor Chan, may I call you that again? Yes. With all those funding that we need, with the current economic climate, which is going to be very challenging, not only for mainland Hong Kong and the rest of the world, do you anticipate difficulty in raising more funds for your good work? Right.
There's of no doubt that fundraising is a challenge for this economic situation globally. But I would also have to say that for the frontline activities so far, we are quite well supported. It's a matter of, in the future, in the upcoming future, the community who will wish to participate as part of this initiative. So we definitely welcome any support, but also we are hopeful.
So Emily, I'm sure you wanted to this good project of collaboration between the NGO based in Hong Kong and all those Belt and Road countries. But one question I must ask in Straight Talk is, with all these geopolitical tensions, is it making many businesses more than challenging? Do you have, or maybe so far, do you have any tensions because of due to all the geopolitical factors in delivering your work?
Right. I guess the beauty of humanitarian work is that it's very solid. Each of the work or the nature of our activities always based on patients' outcome. So it's no doubt that there are a lot of things ongoing in the world, the conflicts and the arguments. But so far, from our partnerships, we're quite blessed with a lot of support. There's always personalities that are difficult to manage. It's nothing to do with nationalities, it's just personalities. But I would have to argue that at this moment, we are very much aggressively chasing all the backlog commitments we have during the COVID. So we are so far okay.
Right. And also another view that we will often hear in the media is, I mean, Hong Kong, we have enough problems, even the mainland.
Yes.
Why are we using our resources to help others while we can still having some backlog in Hong Kong and or even the mainland?
Right.
How do you answer to that?
Right. Well, it's again a very good question. From our platforms, I mean, we are using Hong Kong resources, mainland China resources, and I would take it the other way. It gives an opportunity for young people or for retirees or people who are interested to join hands, to have a stake or to go out there. There are definitely needs everywhere in the world. We are talking about communities that they don't even have a chance to go on a waiting line for surgery. So even though we are saying that we're getting resources from local, it's also an opportunity for people to participate.
Emily, I'm going to give you the last 10 seconds on the show. What will you say to the viewers if they say, right, GX Foundation is doing a great work for the mainland, for Hong Kong? What would you say to them to appeal to support you?
Well, I would say that GX Foundation is a good platform for anyone who's interested to go out and to serve the world. And it's very precious because it's not just about partnership, it's about participation. And it's also a chance for you to meet people and to be able to do some good work without the constraint of politics and national boundaries.
Thank you, Emily, for sharing with us the role that Hong Kong plays in extending medical humanitarian aid to other nations and showing us how this enhances our international standing and strengthens our global partnerships. By supporting other nations, we exemplify the power of empathy, cooperation, and shared humanity. Have a great evening and see you next week.